Greetings travelers, and welcome back to the Hollow. Skyrim is the open world game of the early 2010s. It was one of the first games I can remember watching videos about, but I'd never played it on my own. Finally, I decided to actually play it after having it in my library for about half a decade. But this time, I wanted to shake it up a little, make it more shocking for our first playthrough. I was gonna figure out if you could beat Skyrim with only lightning magic. After doing some light dreaming, I wake up in a carriage.
Hey, you're finally awake.
And told that I'm gonna be executed. Before that though, I'm instructed to make my character. I choose the High Elf race for a multitude of reasons, but the most important of which being the base magicka increase and the ability to use a power and regenerate my magicka for 60 seconds. After having my head literally saved, I run through Helgen dungeons, and once I escape the caves, the challenge officially starts. Immediately, I run down the path and find some stones. Touching the one with the wizard on it, I get a 20% bonus on leveling all magic, which is going to be very helpful going forth. After that, I head to Riverwood to meet with Alvor. He tells me to head to Whiterun and report the attack on Helgen to the Jarl. So, I do that. More walking I go. On my way to the city, I have a run-in with the companions, who tell me if I want to join them, I have to go to this random far-off place, so I just decided to head to Jarl Bolgraf. The Jarl then instructs me to talk to Farengar, the court wizard. After checking out some of the spells he sells, and realizing that I'm poor, I just decide to head up to the first dungeon of the game, Bleak Falls Barrow. On my way there, I also earn my first level. Now, the levels are interesting because once I use a level, not only does it give me a perk point that allows me to increase my health, mana, or stamina, and I can go into specific trees such as destruction magic and increase something like double-handed. But it also refills all of my bars, meaning that I should save my levels for sticky situations like bosses, or maybe even just dungeons with multiple enemies. So that was a bad time to use it, but not a bad time to subscribe, eh? About halfway through the dungeon, I encounter a gigantic frostbite spider, who goes down easily. I then free Arvel the Swift and promptly kill him to get the golden claw. The rest of the dungeon was pretty easy. Hopefully the final boss would be easier. I said, hopefully the final boss would be even easier. Does this guy know how doors work? Once I finally get it open, I can face the first boss of the run. Running out of the dungeon, I do a little exploring and stumble upon Brittleshin Pass. Heading inside, I am jumped by skeletons. Fighting through them, I encounter a necromancer. After taking him out, I steal their robes. That then allows me to experiment with enchanting. And I don't really understand how it still works, but I then accidentally destroyed my clothes. Luckily, since I stole some off the dead necromancer's body, I was able to just use those. After that whole fiasco, I made myself a ring that gives me a little bit more magicka. Exiting the path, I fast travel back to Whiterun as I have gotten sick of walking. After returning the Dragonstone, I'm informed that there's a dragon attacking the guard tower nearby. So I quickly run over there and get ready to fight my first ever dragon. And I get absolutely whooped the first few times. The dragon is beefy, resists my lightning, and can easily turn me into a nicely cooked meal.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Along with using most of my potions to defeat the necromancer in the cave, I'm now low on resources. But that won't stop me from trying.
What about now? It's time to rock with the big dipper. What about now? It's time to rock with the big dipper. Bum to the bum to the bum to the bass. Bum to the bum to the bum. Bum to the bum to the bum to the bass. Bum to the bum to the bum. Bum to the bum to the bum to the bass. Bum to the bum to the bum. Bum to the bum to the bum to the bass. Bum to the bum to the bum.
Hell yeah, brothers.
Once I take it down, something weird happens. I rush to Jarl Bulgruf, who informs me that I am the Dragonborn. He also gives me a follower in Lydia, whom I quickly cold shoulder since I'm a one-man army. Whilst inside Dragonreach, I make sure to visit Farengar, since this time I borrowed some money, and I'm finally able to afford some other spells, including Lightning Bolt and Lightning Rune. I can only use Bolt, however, since I don't have enough magicka for Lightning Rune currently. With the Jarl informing me that I should climb to High Hrothgar to meet with the Greybeards, I decide to head back to Riverwood and return Luke and his claw, while also making sure to take everything that didn't have a price on it. Now ready to learn how to master my newfound powers, I buy a ride to Winterhold as the Mage's College located there. Acing my entrance exam, I swiftly join the class that's currently going on and proceed to never use this spell again. After finishing my first ever class, I fast travel to Helgen, make my way to Iverstead, then get killed by a bear. So I make my way to Iverstead, and arriving at it for the second time, I can cross the bridge and begin my climb of the 10,000 steps to High Hrothgar. Along the way, I encounter an ice troll. I quickly level up, not to die, and then I proceed to take it out. That's how I'm going to use most of them going forward. Climbing all the steps, I finally make it to High Hrothgar. The Greybeards then teach me how to control my shouts, along with teaching me the Whirlwind Sprint. Since we're on the topic of shouts right now, I allowed myself to use most of them since they either don't even do damage or do very little, and there's no real point in not using them. I want to have fun. The Greybeards then instruct me to head to the dungeon of Ustengrav. Morthal was the closest city, so I took a carriage there, but when arriving, chaos seemed to be running rampant around the city, so I hightailed it out of there as quickly as I could. On the way to Ustengrav, I find a cave with a ton of vampire thralls and an actual vampire. I took them all out easily and then proceeded to take everything I deemed valuable, including some new robes. Exiting the cave, I continued on my way to Ustengrav. Inside the dungeon of Ustengrav, I had unfortunately ran out of health potions. When my 2 brain cells finally began to work, I remembered that I could use magic to keep my health up. Then, making my way to the final fight of the dungeon, I have the bright idea to die. Not save, and, well, now I have to do it all over again. This time, at the end of the dungeon, I quickly defeat the spider and head to the final room, where I find a note in place of the horn. Luckily, whoever took the horn forgot to take anything else, so I make sure to pick up everything, including the staff of the familiar. Reading the note informs me that I need to head back to Riverwood. Luckily, I'm not hauling 500 pounds of gear, so I can quickly fast travel there. Upon arriving, however, I'm greeted by some not so lovely faces, who proceed to try and kill me, and end up taking out a few townsfolk in the process. Unfortunately for them, I was simply built different and took them out easily. And I also proceeded to look through belongings, as they would have no more use for them. Heading inside Riverwood Tavern, I'm greeted by Delphine, who leads me to her totally normal dungeon that everybody has. Inside of Delphine's dungeon, I'm not chained up, but instead told to head back to High Hrothgar. Upon reaching High Hrothgar, I borrow some of the offerings left for them, and I interrupt a group nap time, I guess? And then they proceed to get angry and yell at me. Running out of there with tears in my eyes, I quickly catch a carriage to Windhelm. I head to the southeast until I encounter Alduin. Alduin is doing some sort of spell on the dragon bones. Luckily, Delphine informs me that he's trying to resurrect the dragon. I shoot a few bolts at him, but unfortunately seems to do nothing. Thinking of ways I could defeat Alduin, I'm caught off guard by the sudden attack from the once previous pile of bones. Phew, that was a hassle. Feeling like I need to learn a little bit more before I can truly take on Alduin, I decide to head back to school. Fortunately, today was field trip day. Off to the mines I go. Inside of them, I find a nice new necklace, but when I grab it, boom, trapped. After slightly panicking, I free myself, but decide to head further with Tolfdir, and all throughout I'm having these crazy visions of something called the Osigic Order. Finally, arriving in the final room, I encountered a problem. The boss of this dungeon unfortunately had some sort of magical shroud, so using my staff of familiar that was in my back pocket, the shroud fell and took him out easily. Now, if you had a problem with this, it turns out my timing was very, very, very unfortunate. The way this boss works is that you need to run away like a headless chicken until Tolfdir makes it so he's vulnerable. And I didn't know that, so I thought the shroud had broken it, which meant that, did I really do it without lightning? But if you think I couldn't have, watch this. After that mishap, I meet up with Delphine. She informs me that I'm to infiltrate the Thalmor embassy stealthily.
So far, so good. Let's hope nobody saw us slip out. I'll lock the door behind you. Don't squeeze. We need to watch the folks here.
So good.
Acquiring the files, I make my way to Windhelm, where a dragon is just waiting to ambush me. Luckily, with the help of the guards, I easily dispose of it and get another dragon soul. The files from the embassy tell me that Esbern is located in the rift and sewer system. Off to the rat's house I go. Frantically making my way through the sewers, I find Esbern and successfully recruit him to my cause. Upon my escape, however, we encountered a Thalmor wizard, who we swiftly take care of. Esbern and Delphine then lecture me about the past or something like that, and then tell me to run halfway across Skyrim to meet them. So...
Just feel the pace.
Out of breath, I arrive at the scheduled place, and upon arriving I peer over the ridge to see a massive camp full of Forsworn and even a few hag ravens. But before I could even think of a plan, a blood dragon ambushed me. Taking care of those enemies though, I meet up with Delphine and Esbern, and that's where we find Alduin's wall. Esbern and Delphine lord dump on me again. But the only important thing I retained this time is that I could learn a new shout to help me combat dragons. But to learn it, I needed to meet with the Greybeard's master. Back to High Hrothgar I go, and then I ascend to the peak. Holy shit, he's a dragon? Anyway, Parthenax informs me that I need to find the Elder Scroll. Thinking about a place to start, I head to the library at the college. The librarian then tells me to find Septimus, who then tells me to find a cube, who then tells me to find an Elder Scroll. Apparently, the Elder Scroll was at the end of an old dwarven ruin. Making my way through, I fight tons of Falmer, and I even face a formidable dwarven centurion who doesn't seem to understand the concept of roofs and walls. Proceeding down the elevator, and well, this is when I fell in love with Skyrim, and I mean it. Finally arriving at the capsule where the Elder Scroll was held, I then pressed buttons for 20 minutes. Eventually, I figured out the puzzle and got the scroll. I then headed back to the peak of High Hrothgar, where I got a blast from the past. Returning to the present, however, Alduin was there, and he was ready. Now for everybody's favorite thing, politics. Just like real-world politics, I sit at a table as everybody talks for 15 minutes and argues about nothing, really. But finally they agree on a truce. The truce states that I have to capture a dragon now, and so I head to Whiterun because Dragon's Reach apparently can do that. After talking with the dragon a little bit, he tells me he can bring me to the dungeon. Unfortunately, I encounter a problem there. I'm mightily underleveled. And also, figuring that this would lead to the final fight of the game, I wanted to make sure I was properly equipped. So, I went back to do other things. First of which was finishing my education. Going back to grab the lexicon, Septimus then tells me I need to head to the librarian. He then tells us to go find some books that a rebellious student stole. On my way to Fellow Glow Keep, I make sure to take out another dragon. I then enter the keep and kill everybody. At the end of the keep is the Caller. After taking care of him, I recover the books and return them. After returning them though, I'm confronted by Arcano. He informs me that I should talk to the Augur of Dun Lane to get more information about the mysterious orb that we brought back. The Augur turned out to be a well under the school, and it informs me of something called the Eye of Magnus. The Eye is located in yet another dwarven ruin. Running through the final room and defeating all the Falmer, I grab a random artifact and then fiddle with the doohickey until I can get something exciting to happen. I am then able to enter the actual dungeon where the Eye of Magnus is residing. While traversing through the dungeon, I'm constantly having my magicka drained, so I have to rely more and more on my wits. And by wits, I mean hiding in a corner until my magicka is full. I eventually find the final boss, Morki. Defeating him allows me to take his mask, which is regenerating my magicka even faster. I then do the greatest thing ever and lose the next bit of footage. But I'm gonna try and recall and tell it by tale. After fast traveling back to the College of Winterhold, I'm told that Winterhold is under attack by a bunch of ice wraiths. So I shoot my lightning at them. I then need to head back into the college, where Arcano is using magic to have the orb do something. I don't exactly know. But after we talk with him and confront him, he powers up the orb or something, and it, like, explodes, and unfortunately kills the Archmage. After using the Staff of Magnus that will calm the orb down, I shoot lightning at Arcano and defeat him. I'm then told that I now inherit the Archmage's position and his robes, which are pretty cool, and they give me extra damage, extra magicka regen. They're pretty much the best robes I could have in the entire game. Now, seeing as this script is about 2,500 words, and I'm probably about 30 minutes into this recording, I have about 20 more hours of footage to try and summarize here. But it's not very exciting, so I'm going to give you the Spark Notes version. First up, I join the Thieves Guild, and I steal some stuff. Then I steal more stuff. Then I die. But not really. I then get some sick-ass armor, and proceed to kill the previous leader of the guild. After that, I get kidnapped. And I kill people. Then I kill more people. Then I kill a jester. And get an awesome horse. Finally, I felt ready to go through to the final dungeon. By this point, I had a few more spells up my sleeve as well. Lightning Cloak, Chain Lightning, and I'm finally able to use Lightning Rune. Running through and taking out Draugr and dragons alike, I make it to the end of the dungeon. But I'm given a word before it. And that word is a shout. Storm Call. Atop the dungeon, there was a dragon priest. And after dying multiple times, I finally am able to ambush it before it can do any of its fancy dragon priest stuff. And the portal to Sovngarde stayed open. So I jumped in. Walking down the path, I see the building there, with all the previous heroes. After walking around and investigating it, I head back out to the main plane, where I'm face to face with the Destroyer of Worlds, Alduin. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do that. If you think I can improve on anything, leave a comment. I'll respond, and it's the best way to really tell me what you'd like to see next. I try and make sure to read all the comments, because a lot of them are super nice, and a lot of you guys have really good advice. With all that said, farewell, travelers. I hope we meet again.